this next section is very much going to be in English. Thanks for coming to our symposia today. For those of you who are existing MicroStrategy customers, thanks for using the software that we put so much of our energy into building. And I guess to give you a little bit of perspective on my background, which gives you a little bit of understanding of my take on things. I've been with MicroStrategy for just under 19 years in a variety of different roles, mostly focused on the technology, mostly focused on the product, and now I get to the pleasure of having worked so hard on different parts of the product and continuing to work with our amazing technology team and our product management team. I get the opportunity to try and best explain to people what MicroStrategy's product does and the true capabilities that are within the latest version of MicroStrategy, which is MicroStrategy 10. And what I hope to do today is try and give you guys a little bit of perspective of some of the things that we've learned over the last few years and how we're responding to those learnings. And this all goes back most recently to the launch of MicroStrategy 10 back in the summer of 2018. We launched a huge launch of MicroStrategy 10 where we were able to update significantly the enterprise analytics, the enterprise reporting hub that MicroStrategy has always been amazing at, with governance and security and delivering a set of information to many people within any organization that have deployed it. And we added alongside that a powerful enterprise-ready data discovery product, to match the sorts of things that users were going to people like Tableau or Click or Power BI for. We added our own data discovery product, but did it in such a way that you could seamlessly move from an individual building data discovery incredibly quickly and promote that content into that secure enterprise governed environment, being able to move between those different states. And instead of having to compromise or have two different solutions, have a single, coherent, integrated approach to both agility, self-service analytics, and enterprise capabilities and enterprise analytics. And we were so proud of what we've done within our engineering organization that we wanted to take that message out and present it around the world. So we decided to start up a symposia series. And we thought, what we'll do, we'll go and visit about 20 different cities and we'll present what MicroStrategy 10 can do. And every single quarter since then, we've continued on that path of going out to as many different places in the world to meet our customers, to meet our partners like Obase, who are here today, a great MicroStrategy partner, and to find out what's working, what's not working, what can we do to improve. And we quickly got lots and lots of feedback that this is great, but we're trying to solve this new problem, or we have this specific challenge that is unique to our market, that is unique to the challenges within Japan, or within Turkey, or within wherever we were going. And that feedback became a driving force for us to continue investing in MicroStrategy 10, and resulted in us adding new functionality to the product and committing to updating the product every single quarter. So we've grown our engineering organization in response to all of that feedback, with more engineers now based right near our headquarters in Washington, just outside of Washington, DC. More engineers at a new technology center in Warsaw. More engineers at our China Technology Center in Hangzhou. And we've now, every single quarter, improved on MicroStrategy 10, and even most recently had, it was Tuesday, I think, this week, launched the latest version of MicroStrategy 10, MicroStrategy 10.11. And every single one of those releases is almost a challenge to the marketing and sales teams to be able to correctly update everyone on what we put into it, because our technology organization is innovating now at such a pace, but in response to that feedback we were getting from our customers around the world. And then over the last year, as we continue to release new technologies, new capabilities, we started to see a theme, a pattern of questions from organizations along the lines of, this is great, the technology is unmatched in the space, but I have this challenge. I have a significant amount of complexity in my organization. Complexity as it relates to the challenges I'm facing, complexity as it relates to a huge amount of different enterprise assets and data in a variety of different locations, and the complexity around supporting all of the different people in the organization with their unique needs and delivering up these different types of applications, be it data discovery applications, advanced analytics applications, big data applications, even mobility applications for salespeople or field service workers. And how do the biggest question was, how can you help me sort through that complexity? How can you help me map out what I need to put into place to understand what technology I need, but also, let's be realistic, it's not just technology, it's also what people do I need? What are the roles and responsibilities that those people have, and where do they fit within the solution? What are the processes I need to be able to deliver a solution like this to my entire organization, and do it so I can digitally transform my organization and make it a more intelligent enterprise? And as you were just introduced to, and as many of you probably have copies of already, we mapped this out in the form of a map. And I wanted to take some time today to sort of walk you through those different pieces of that map so that you have context when you're looking at it. And also, we've realized that organizations are at a variety of different stages as it relates to their digital transformation, or as we call it, to their journey of becoming an intelligent enterprise. And then I wanted to share with you some recent innovations that I think really showcase what's possible with a modern analytics platform, and highlight some of the things that organizations have been building with MicroStrategy. So, in terms of the map, one of the most important things to recognize is that every organization doesn't exist in a vacuum. Right? Every organization is impacted by factors that are external to them. And we try to recognize those factors into 4 different main categories. There are technology factors, and these can be challenges or these can be opportunities. If you are a banking organization, for example, the existence of things like Bitcoin can be as much a challenge as the existence of blockchain is an opportunity for you to take advantage of the technological developments related to that. If you're a retailer, the existence of Amazon maybe is a challenge, depending on the market that you're in, but the existence of cloud compute services from AWS is an opportunity. So you have a variety of different factors that are influencing where you are and what your specific challenges are. Some of them are technological, some of them are market challenges based on the impact that mega vendors like Apple and Amazon and Alibaba and Facebook and even the influence that Facebook pretty much very topical, right in the news. Like there are these organizations provide huge opportunity, but are also changing entire markets based on their size. There are regulatory challenges that are unique to specific geographies, that are unique to specific markets, and then there are the classic competitive challenges that have always been pretty easy to define. And we in our map, we mapped them out using the Michael Porter's model that I think was established back in the Harvard Business Review in the late 70s or even in the 80s. So these external forces impact every organization, and there are a huge amount of different waves of technological advancements that are occurring. The mobile wave, a wave towards AI and machine learning, whether that be building AI metrics on top of data, or whether that be building better software so you have augmented intelligence, augmented processes, augmented data prep, augmented data visualization. The challenge, the wave of cloud computing, as that continues to explode in terms of the amount of capabilities that you have at your disposal now. But one consistent thread across all of them is that they're all built on a foundation of data. Right? They all rely on data, they all generate data. And it's that consistency that really is the underpinning of the opportunity that we face. Because the data in any organization and the value that's tapped away in that, the one analogy that is oft repeated is, data is the new oil. The value that is trapped away in that data is the thing that any organization can leverage to be able to compete in a market against all of those external factors. It's how do we get the information out of all of the different places where it exists and present it to all of the people who we want to influence, our executive, number one, our boss. Right? We want to make our boss happy, so let's influence him or her. But then we want to influence the executive team and help them make better, smarter, strategic decisions. More than that, we want to influence everyone in the workforce. Right? More than that, we want to influence our vendors so they recognize the value of partnering with us. And more than that, we want to help our customers. Right? And all of the information that we gather can help us solve those problems and deliver information and deliver intelligence to those constituents more effectively. But in order to do that, you need, and I think one of the biggest challenges that organizations recognize, you need to be able to go and connect to the data where it lives. Whether that be in some sort of relational source or Hadoop distributed file system, or whether you want to connect directly to your ERP system or your CRM system, or whether you want to connect to non-traditional forms of data. For example, think of buildings, right? Every single building you go into, every single office building, you badge into that door, you travel up through an elevator or a lift. You go into different parts of the office, right? The physical access control systems, be they empowered by things like Linnell or Honeywell, track all of this. So wouldn't you want to be able to connect into and understand how your employees work together? Which parts of the building are leveraged and utilized and which parts are not? That information should be supplemented with all the other traditional forms of information you have about employees and customers. So you need to be able to connect to all of this information, no matter where it lives, and pull it all together so that you can present it to the organization in a singular fashion. Right? It is not particularly helpful to have the complexity of, let's say you have information about customers in 20 different places. Right? So maybe some of it is you're getting from external sources, some of it you've got it from their sales patterns. It's not helpful to the organization to just say, we've got information about our customers in 20 places, here they are. Right? At that point, you're just passing on the complexity and creating more trouble. What you want to be able to do is put a singular, you want to be able to abstract that complexity away from the end user, so that when they want to ask a question about how much money is this customer worth to me, or give me a list of all of the customers who are my VIP customers. I want to be able to ask those questions and get the information from wherever it lives without me having to worry about the complexity of the data in the underlying systems. And organizations are increasingly recognizing that you solve that challenge with a single cohesive platform that you put on top of all of those different enterprise assets. And from that platform, you can then build all of the different types of analytics and mobility applications easily on top of the data that has abstracted away the complexity. A platform that can do that requires a number of different services and also requires a number of different layers of objects to be able to effectively abstract that complexity away. It's not a simple thing that most analytics tools can do. It's something that is uniquely solved by a vendor like Microstrategy. And so looking at those different layers, and they're all detailed clearly in the map, you've got layers within that platform that provide services that you're going to need to be able to handle the complexity of, let's say for example, 1,000 people within an organization, large number, let's say 1,000 people within an organization, all asking questions about customers, but they're asking 1,000 different questions, and they have a variety of different security profiles, and the information they're requesting comes from a variety of different places. Like, how do you solve that problem successfully? Well, you solve it by having technology that has been proven over time that handles multi-source connectivity, that handles parallel processing, right? That handles optimized connectivity to the information wherever it lives, that handles important things like failover and the ability to scale up or scale down based on how much is being asked of it, right? That's an important set of capabilities that you need to be able to solve these problems at scale. You also need key services, and application designers especially need key services that they can plug and play into every single different application. And these are things that they don't want to have to code and build every single time. These are capabilities like beautiful map and geospatial visualizations that you can add to any web application or any mobile application, almost like adding a piece, a puzzle piece to a jigsaw. Right? I just want to plug and play my geospatial services into any single application, or maybe I want to add distribution capabilities to my applications, so that I can just add them, and every single person who accesses that application on mobile, on the web, can then subscribe all of their teammates to get the same version of the information delivered to them via PDF, directly in an email, sent to some sort of file server. I need those distribution capabilities added as another piece to the jigsaw puzzle. Or maybe I want collaboration capabilities. Maybe I recognize the benefits of having, texting with all of my friends, or the social media effect of something like Facebook or Twitter, and I want to take that social media effect, the impact of crowdsourcing questions, and I don't want to leave it in email, and I definitely don't want to ask people to take their work conversations and start putting them on Facebook, right? I want to add collaborative capabilities directly against the live data in the dashboards, in the interactive dossiers. But I don't want to have to go and code it and work through all the different pieces of that. I want to add it as another piece of the puzzle, just like adding another piece to the jigsaw puzzle. And so those plug-and-play services are equally important. And on top of that, the abstraction process, the being able to publish to the organization, here is the true meaning of a customer. Here's the true definition of revenue forecast. Let's have meetings where we all understand that the information that all 7 or 17 of us are looking at is the correct information, and we don't all turn up with 7 different versions of the truth. That abstraction requires 4 layers of a schema layer for abstracting away everything at its most base level, a data layer where I can publish cubes of information, sets of information that the organization and architects and analysts can use, knowing that here's the information about inventory, here's all the information about sales, and it's a trusted set of information that you can rely on, through to applications and reusable parts of those applications, and then covered on top of the security layer. So I know that whoever logs in and accesses this, I know that they have permissions to see what they're seeing and access what they're accessing, and then I can also record it. Back to the point we made about the regulatory requirements. Those regulatory requirements could require that you track who's looking at what customer data, right? So if that's the case, in order to meet that requirement, you need to implement not only the security that restricts who can look at what, But you also need to have an underlying system that's tracking who's looking at what customer data, so that when the government has a requirement for you to publish who's looking at customer data, that information is just easily accessible to you. So those are the layers that are required within an intelligence platform. And then what can you do with it? Well, if you're building an intelligent enterprise, that intelligence platform lets you support applications in every single department within your organization, right? And a broad variety of different applications that can serve all of those different constituents. And this is something that philosophically MicroStrategy has always been, let's say we think differently from others in the analytics space. Analytics should be for everyone, not just analysts, right? If you go to, the best example is probably, you go to a hospital. Think of all those people in a hospital organization who could be more successful at what they do if they had information that's relevant to their jobs. Doctors, nurses. If you go up to a doctor and a nurse and you say, "Are you an analyst?" They're not going to say yes. Right? They're a doctor, they're a nurse. So providing those people with information to help them do their jobs is a critical part of being an intelligent enterprise. Yet those people are not the sort of people who are going to go to their Mac or go to their PC and download something that they, got off the internet and start doing data prep and data wrangling and build some analytics, right? They're not. They're going to consume something that somebody else has built and published for them. Right? And so you need to be able to support the doctors and nurses and their needs. And you need to be able to support the executives' needs, and you need to be able to support the customer needs. And the truth is, in terms of, and we all recognize that the value that is in there in the data, the trick is to adoption of that data, is delivering the information to people how they want it and where they want it on the device they want it on, and not saying you have to have it on this specific device in this specific way, otherwise you don't get it any other way. Right? So the trick is being incredibly flexible. And MicroStrategy I use us as an example because I'm intimately involved in how we use analytics to run our business. We have a variety of different ways in which we present information to our employees to help them do their jobs better. Our CEO, great example, in his office in our headquarters just outside of Washington DC, he's taken an entire wall of his very nice office, and he's put 12 HD TV screens up on that one wall. And he looks at his dashboards, looks at his interactive analytics dossiers up on that wall. It means it's always very warm in that office, but that's how he consumes information. And then how we've transformed our headquarters and all of the offices around MicroStrategy offices around the world is we've taken these HD TV screens and we put them up on as many different walls as possible, so that we're constantly showcasing key metrics, key reports, key trends that we want the workers to look at to influence their behavior up on the wall. So for example, our customer support organization, a great set of people, they have metrics on case resolution. They have metrics on how many priority cases are in the queue. They have metrics, urgent metrics, if anyone's waiting on the phone, right? And those are up on the walls, because it's so much more easy for them to be influenced by that than asking them to go run a report. Then there are people, our sales team, for example, we've armed them, asking our salespeople to go get the analytics by going to our chief executive officer's room in North Virginia is a little much. So what we've done with our sales team is we've taken an iPad, we put a pretty red cover on it. You'll notice there's a pattern here, the red map, the red tablet. We even got the red microphone. So we've armed every single salesperson within our organization, every single customer-focused person, and actually quite a few more, with an iPad that we control, right? We set all of the apps that they get on the first page, and it's all things that they would want to show to our customers. The products we offer, the services we offer, the best demos of what you can do with MicroStrategy. And then we also give them productivity tools, applications that, we drink our own champagne. We've built using MicroStrategy to help them approve expenses, approve time off requests, to applications that contain multimedia for onboarding, for training. So there's a set of applications for showcasing things to customers and a set of applications for making someone more productive when they're on the road. It makes more sense for them, for all of these applications, to be mobile, native, and on their mobile device, right? So this is another way of us increasing the adoption of the analytics and the mobility applications, is by putting them on the best device of choice. And then all the way at the most extreme examples, most recently we've been deploying the little Amazon Echo Dots to a number of offices, because there are some examples where the adoption of the analytics, distribution of that intelligence is going to hit maximum if you simply repeat an answer back out of the ether. And a great example of this is, so we most recently had our Microstrategy'nin World event in Las Vegas. It's our annual user conference, and the next one in next January is going to be in Phoenix, and I encourage you all to come and join us in Phoenix in January. It's not so hot then, but they have cactuses. And so we invest very heavily within my team on making sure that's an incredible experience for people, and they get to learn a lot of new things and learn how to implement things successfully and hear great stories like the ones you're going to hear today from other organizations that have deployed MicroStrategy. And so we're constantly asking the question, how many people are registered for MicroStrategy World? Right, so if we've deployed an Echo Dot in my boss's office, my boss is called Mark, and so me and Mark and another guy, he's called Patrick, we're sitting in this room every single morning at 9 o'clock saying, how many people are registered for World? Right? In a traditional environment, without voice, Patrick has to open up his laptop, log in, run a report, and say, as of right now we have 1,850 people registered for World. Wouldn't it be much more effective if in that office I can say, Alexa, ask MicroStrategy, how many people are registered for World? And Alexa would go to the dossier that Patrick has just looked at, we have the information, it's already there, and say, as of right now, there's 1,870 people registered for World. And you can say, Alexa, how many of those people are registered for World come from Turkey? As of right now, there's 574 people who come from Turkey, whatever the number is. The information exists by putting that Echo Dot in the room, and it's relatively inexpensive. I think they cost like $27 or $29 US dollars. Is just another way to increase the adoption of the data. But then, if you think back to why it's so critical to have an intelligence platform and to have a single enterprise version of the truth, right? Because that only works, and applications like that only work when you've taken the time to have a single enterprise version of the truth. Because if you have 40 different dashboards that are sort of answering that question, what is Alexa going to do? She's going to come back and say, well, I've got 40 different answers for you. Which one would you like first? Like, it doesn't work. So voice is another great example of why organizations that are becoming intelligent enterprises are going to be able to put things like voice in every single room successfully because they've taken the time to abstract away the complexities of all the different data sources in their organization. So the flexibility that provides you then is not only delivering all these applications to all of these different constituents, but you can also support enterprise analytics, you can support departmental analytics, you can support agile individual analytics, and then have a path to be able to move from that individual agile. different states, right? It becomes critical then to recognize that you've got a state of enterprise analytics where the most critical things are reliability, security. When you're providing the organization with financial data, salary data, or employee information that is private, right? And then those things you can't just throw in a sandbox and let anybody have access to it as if it was some sort of Excel document. But then you've also got a need to provide people with incredible agility so that they can get access to data, build something incredibly quickly, publish it out to as many people as possible to solve an immediate need. And intelligent enterprises recognize that you need to be able to provide the underlying infrastructure to support both of those different use cases at the same time. And so what we've done is map out the platform that you need to be able to support all these different use cases. And then one of the next things we realized was that essentially there's actually a number of different steps to being an intelligent enterprise, a number of different stages. And we mapped it out and we worked with a number of different organizations to determine what pieces of the puzzle do you have, and where do you feel like you're at in terms of being an intelligent enterprise. And we mapped out 7 different stages of an intelligent enterprise, and we plotted those across 2 different axes. On the first axis, the organizations that are as far away from possible as being digitally transforming themselves or being an intelligent enterprise, found themselves that the information was locked away to just a collection of analysts. There were just a few people in the organization who were the operations person who was always working on analytics, who had access to the data. And it's those people, I'll catch up with where I was talking through. There you go. And those analysts are the only people who have access to the intelligence. Whereas an incredibly intelligent organization, everyone you influence, customers, employees, vendors, have access to the intelligence. Right? So that's one axis, and then the other axis, information at its worst state, information is siloed. You're essentially running the business using Excel. Like you've got 400 different pieces of information, and they're all separate, and there's no integration with them, and no one really knows what exists. There's a lot of duplication, and it's incredibly inconsistent through to the information that everyone in the organization accesses is trusted and verified. You've got to the point where you look at a sales number, and there's no debate like, I think this might be close, I'm not too sure. You're like, this is the right sales number. You get to a point where if you're running a retail operation, if you were the head of store operations and you walked into any store and you went up to the store manager and you said, I have this figure for revenue today in this store, and the store manager's like, yeah, I have that figure too. And somebody at headquarters runs a list of all the revenues of every single store at that moment in time, and they get exactly the same figure. And then there's a vendor that walks in and says, yeah, you've shared, like, that matches up with me with what I have based on, and I can understand my contribution to that figure as well. All of the decisions are based on trusted and verified information. And those 7 stages essentially are layer on the different critical pieces of the map. At stage 1, you have an organization that is essentially a collection of analysts. There's no platform or consistency. Everything is fragmented, and the information is really pocketed away to just a few people. Stage 2, a stage 2 intelligent enterprise has some method of sharing what those people build, but it's essentially, they have a server and they're able to share the information on that server, but it's not that much more advanced than sharing files on, like a shared file system or Dropbox or Box. Right? A stage 3 intelligent enterprise now has, it's recognized that, of all these different enterprise assets, all these different databases, there's a single person within the intelligence center who worries about the consistency of those databases. And there's an enterprise environment that connects to the databases. And the analysts use it, and with the server now, you can access the information either via a desktop product or a web product. And they're leveraging some of the underlying services of that server, but there's no consistency of the data. Things are still very fragmented. It's stage 4 that things start to really pick up. Because in stage 4, organizations recognize that the complexity of the problems they're trying to deal with, there are a key set of people that they need to have in place. Roles within the intelligence center, someone who's in charge of the analytics for the organization, someone who's in charge of the mobility for the organization, someone who's in charge of administering the platform. And they also recognize there's a set of processes that need to be put in place as well. And then on top of that, they're able to now roll out mobile applications. And in stage 5, intelligent enterprise additionally recognizes the need for supporting both departmental, agile, analytics and enterprise, and recognizing that they need to be, you benefit the most if they're all part of the same system, yet you also benefit the most if you recognize that you have 2 different systems that optimize, one for stability and one for agility. And stage 6 intelligent enterprise has that abstraction layer in place. And suddenly every single person in the organization is using that abstraction. There's published federated versions of the data. And a stage 7 organization, the final piece of the puzzle is they're now generating data off of the digital identity of the users and folding that data back into the system for recommendations based on the location of customers and employees, or for other innovative applications that are only possible when you're now generating data from all of the usage and folding that utilization data back in. So then one question that I asked to you guys, and maybe this is something you discussed during the coffee break or during lunch, is what stage do you think your organization is at? We obviously, as an organization, recognize that it's not just technology, it's also technique that gets an organization to be further along on their journey of the intelligent enterprise. And we help with those techniques in a variety of ways, from at its most simple and low touch, offering education to those critical roles that are in the map of the intelligent enterprise, all the way through to offering best practices on architecture and working on projects. Obase are a great example of the sort of organization that also implement many of these different things for organizations as well. And one of the things that we've been working on most recently is an intelligent enterprise assessment. An engagement where we will come on site over the period of 3 to 5 days and work out where are you in being an intelligent enterprise. What pieces of the puzzle do you have? Which pieces are you missing? What are the prioritization of the tasks that you need to implement? And how can we help you move to that next stage? In addition to concluding, in addition to the map and building out the map, and in addition to working on things like the intelligent enterprise assessment, there's also been a number of different innovations that we've put into the product most recently. In the interest of time, I'm going to show you a few of these that to sort of really showcase what people are doing with the latest version of products like Microstrategy. And one of my favorite most recent developments has been the complete transformation of the ease of use of Microstrategy. And we've always had an incredibly powerful engine at the heart of our platform. And now we've put on top of that some really compelling, graphically rich, beautiful application capabilities. And one of them we call dossiers, because we were trying to work out how best could we help people increase the adoption of their analytics. And one of the ways you can do that is to make it incredibly simple for anyone when they pick something up to understand it and start using it. Right? And we thought, okay, well, what's a good analogy for that? Well, every single person, I could give every single one of you a book, right? And you know how it works. You know that it has a front cover, a back cover, and it has chapters and pages, and you know how a book operates, right? So why can't we take something as simple as a book and apply it to analytics? And that's what we did with dossiers. We built an analytics vehicle where you could compile interactive, live grids and graphs and dashboards and visualizations into related chapters and add filters and collaboration. And here's a short video that shows you that.
That makes it easy to tell stories with data. Users can take advantage of interactive visual filters, like the map in this case, to conserve dashboard real estate and intelligently filter data. Dossiers are organized in chapters and pages, like a book, making it easy to quickly navigate through reports and dashboards and find relevant content. Users have complete flexibility to slice and dice data across any page in the dossier. It's easy to filter data across visualizations by making selections anywhere on the dossier. Users can also drill across dimensions to display more granular information and visually identify trends and outliers. In this example, we can drill down to a specific sales rep and target account to provide executives and team leaders a comprehensive view of employee performance. This exact view can be downloaded and shared with others in many ways, such as a PDF or an interactive dossier. Dossiers have completely responsive design across a variety of devices and screen sizes. The native MicroStrategy library app for iOS and Android allows users to access dossiers on both smartphones and tablets. This provides touch-optimized experience for end users without sacrificing functionality, appearance, or performance.
And so, having built those dossiers, and I referred to this briefly earlier, we wanted to add the power of adding comments with targeting other users with those comments, adding interactive filters to those comments, adding all of that functionality alongside the analytics itself. And so we introduced collaboration on top of dossiers. And we've also I got a short video to show that as well.
The MicroStrategy dossier interface combines powerful data discovery with intuitive collaboration techniques. It supports real-time comments and also allows users to create custom combinations of filters, such as top customers or at-risk customers, and share these unique views as bookmark filters. Any user can ask questions by entering comments within the dossier interface itself. Users can collaborate in real time by tagging other users and sharing direct links to personalized views of the dossier. In this instance, John is sending a personalized view to his top-performing sales rep, who receives an email notification while he's at his desk. He can quickly navigate to the dossier and click on the filter embedded within the comment to gain additional context. From here, he can tag other users in the discussion thread to crowdsource new perspectives. Colleagues who are in the field receive push notifications on their mobile devices to let them know that their attention is required. Because MicroStrategy works seamlessly across devices, our collaboration tools helps teams come together to explore data, share insights, and solve problems.
And that collaboration feature, I mean, without it, you're essentially taking screenshots of what you found that was just interesting and taking that conversation off into email. But with it, you're pulling people into the live data. And you're also, a month down the line, if I want to go and run that dossier, not only am I still looking at the live data, but I see a historical record of all the questions and answers. Also find the subject matter experts in the organization. It's an incredibly useful capability to add alongside the analytics. And we've made it really easy as well to find these dossiers, to find these collaborations and these comments for users in a brand new redesigned library. Because obviously, you build dossiers, you build books, you want to put them in a library. And that library is equally optimized to render beautifully, whether it be through the web, whether it be on a Mac or a PC, whether it be on a tablet device, or even now on the phone. We'll skip over that video.
The MicroStrategy library provides...
There you go. Then most recently, we've completely overhauled how we render mapping visualizations in the product. We call it MicroStrategy Geospatial Services. With our most recent integration with Mapbox, we provided more mapping capabilities than we've ever had in our product before.
As an application designer, you can quickly and easily include geography maps into your apps. Flexible formatting capabilities are available for analysts and designers to format layers, assign shapes, and dynamically control zoom or aggregation behavior, making it incredibly easy for anyone to build map visualizations. MicroStrategy's Geospatial Services, powered by Mapbox, offers extensive mapping options to plot location data for over 150 countries down to the zip and postal code level. It supports markers, bubbles, and area types on a variety of map styles, including satellite, topographic, street, physical, and more. The map visualization doubles existing functionality and allows users to harness the power of vector-based maps to maintain optimal precision and performance over location data. Users can display multiple layers and use interactive selectors to dynamically filter the data shown on the map. These maps enable zoom-appropriate clusters, aggregations, and layers that make it incredibly easy for users to understand their geospatial data. The enhanced map visualization is available across all MicroStrategy products, and end users can not only understand data faster, but can also interact with it using rotate, zoom, or tilt options, ensuring clarity at every angle.
In addition to that, one of the most interesting things we most recently added to the product is we believe very, very passionately about having not only the best tech stack, but also an incredibly open architecture with APIs published so that any organization can take what we've done and further customize it. And in addition to that, we've published connectors so that if you have users within any organization that use Tableau or Power BI or Click, they can now connect into MicroStrategy and use MicroStrategy
Connectors are available
data
to access data in MicroStrategy, delivering trusted analytics for everyone, even Tableau, Click, and Power BI users. Tableau users can use the Web Data Connector to securely access MicroStrategy datasets using standard or LDAP authentication. It's now possible to preview certified data and build trusted dashboards with Tableau without ever leaving the interface. Analysts who rely on Power BI to visualize data can access MicroStrategy reports and in-memory cubes by directly browsing for governed datasets on the MicroStrategy server. Power BI users can now confidently visualize data and build dashboards they can trust. Similarly, ClickSense and ClickView users can leverage a pre-configured connector to access MicroStrategy datasets and build dashboards. No matter what tool you use, MicroStrategy's open architecture allows you to deploy scalable analytics to the entire enterprise. What's more, if you're looking to standardize your analytics on a single platform, MicroStrategy also delivers modern data discovery capabilities that meet the needs of analysts and business users. Regardless of your investments, MicroStrategy delivers a single version of the truth alongside easy-to-use data discovery.
And I know I'm biased. You saw there an example of a published set of the same published set of data, and the visualization built in Tableau and Click and Power BI and MicroStrategy. Pretty sure MicroStrategy looked best. And in addition to that, the Open API enables new innovative applications, such as integrating with Alexa for voice-driven analytics, or even being able to ask questions of data through the medium of text, through chatbots that are underpinned with an AI engine to understand the sorts of questions that someone's asking and provide answers that are tied back to that published federated data.
Alexa, ask MicroStrategy, what is my revenue for the fourth quarter?
The value for revenue in Q4 is $443,000.
Alexa, ask MicroStrategy for my Office Royale summary.
Revenue for this year to date is $576,000 with profits of $91,000, an improvement of 109% from last year. The average margin for North America is 5.5%, a growth of 78% from last year. There is currently $8 million in pipeline this quarter. $4 million in Stage 2 committed, $4 million in Stage 4 pipeline.
MicroStrategy empowers everyone across your organization by simplifying access to data and insights. By leveraging REST APIs, natural language, and text-based queries, MicroStrategy integrates with digital assistants like chatbots through Skype, Facebook Messenger, and iOS Messenger. Users can simply ask questions, and the chatbot automatically understands the context and retrieves and delivers the relevant information from MicroStrategy. Chatbots can also provide access to detailed reports and dashboards directly via the Messenger interface. MicroStrategy's ability to integrate with digital assistants is a powerful way to embed analytics into third-party applications and drive adoption across to the larger workforce.
So in addition to those, we've continued to completely overhaul our tool set, and I think that for those of you who've had the chance to download the free MicroStrategy desktop product, the further upgraded version, even now with 10.11, will recognize that it's an incredibly intuitive and almost an enjoyable experience when doing data discovery, either on a Mac or on a PC. In addition to that product and that overhauled analyst experience, we've also added a new tool to our suite of capabilities called Workstation. Workstation, a great administrative tool that allows an administrator to administer environments, to administer entire sets of data that are coming off of multiple different MicroStrategy projects, to administer all of the users and their security, and has the same look and feel of that beautiful desktop analyst experience, and is available both for Mac and PC.
MicroStrategy Workstation.
And then finally, the developments we've continued to make as it relates to cloud also continue to just showcase how much innovation is possible when you invest heavily in an engineering department. Whether it be making the MicroStrategy on AWS, which is MicroStrategy on Windows, MicroStrategy on Linux, MicroStrategy on AWS, each one uniquely optimized for that underlying operating system. The difference with MicroStrategy on AWS is that there are so many different services that are available that you can take advantage of. And so MicroStrategy on AWS uniquely takes advantage of 44 different AWS services that are published by AWS for standing up that environment, for horizontally or vertically scaling the compute capacity based on needs, and making those available in a variety of different AWS regions around the world. And some of the new interfaces that are specific to that MicroStrategy on AWS version are now are even outstripping what's possible with MicroStrategy for Windows and MicroStrategy for Linux, especially
MicroStrategy on AWS
some of these examples.
Teams, departments, or enterprises to get up and running quickly. Administrators can spin up fully configured analytics and mobility environments that are specifically designed for AWS, taking advantage of over 45 different AWS services to provide a cloud-optimized experience. With MicroStrategy on AWS, organizations get complete access to the latest compute configurations, unique deployment options on AWS infrastructure around the world, and certificate configurations that meet various enterprise security and procedural requirements. From a single interface, teams can easily monitor and manage all existing MicroStrategy environments on AWS. Administrators can see usage statistics across various instances and services, including details like CPU and memory utilization, number of database connections, and free storage space. It is easy to automate tasks and manage costs by scheduling events in order to start, stop, resize, and upgrade environments on a one-time, weekly, or monthly basis. The provisioning console automatically notifies you when upgrades are available and provides a one-click workflow when you're ready to upgrade your environment. Once your environment is provisioned, you will receive an email with credentials allowing you to securely access your environment.
Great, so that sort of concludes really what I wanted to cover. I think as you can probably conclude, we're incredibly proud of the products that we've built. I'm incredibly enthusiastic for our technology enthusiastic for what we're doing at MicroStrategy, both as it relates to developing the technology, but also as it relates to focusing on helping our customers be incredibly successful. Thanks again for taking the time to come here, and with that, I'll just say, yeah, thank you very much, and hello to the next speaker. Cheers.